Well, what surprised me, there are some feelings that really never change. It doesn't matter if, I'm speaking from my own experience. If I visit Morocco for, a couple of days and I go back in few months or I go back in few years, that burning desire, that first touchdown with the airplane, that you waiting in line in customs just to go to the luggage area to go outside, it never changes. It's always the same excitement, that burning desire to see the family, to see the friends, that just to breathe the air. It's very unique and it never goes away. It's still the same. The first time that I went to Morocco is still the same way that I came back a couple of weeks ago or last week. It's beyond incredible. So I think they'll walk away with a lifetime memories, friendship. They'll walk away with a place that they know they're going to visit one more time or maybe more. Morocco really changes.
Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor podcast. Devon Taylor,
Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Devon Taylor podcast, where we have guests from all around the world tell their unique and powerful stories to not only allow their voice to be heard, but for you to leave feeling inspired. Travel is often framed as an escape, a getaway, a highlight reel, a break from real life. But what if travel is really about connection? About slowing down, listening, and honoring the places and people we step into? Today's conversation explores what it means to move beyond tourism and into cultural respect, storytelling, and shared humanity. My guest has dedicated his work to helping people experience Morocco, not as outsiders, but as curious participants, connecting with its traditions, communities, and lived stories. He's the founder of Destinations Morocco and the host of the Destinations Morocco podcast. So I'm happy to welcome Azdean. And then your last name, I would love for you to say it for me because I don't want to butcher it.
El Mustakim.
El Mosteki. Okay. Welcome to the show. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Devon. I really, really appreciate this opportunity. I'm very grateful for you for having me as a guest and Happy New Year. So I'm super excited to be on your podcast today.
Thank you. Yeah. Happy New Year. I'm super excited to have you here as well. I really just like to start with, what made you start Destinations Morocco, and why did you feel that was important?
That's a really, really good question, Devon. Thank you for that. The reason why we started the Destinations Morocco, me and my wife actually, we traveled back and forth to Morocco. As you know, I've been here for over 3 decades, and we get old as but then going back and forth becomes a little bit more challenging, becomes a little bit more difficult. And then we had our son in 2015. That really changed everything for us. We know he's American, but also we want him to know where his roots are, where he comes from. And that's the reason that, drove us to create Destinations Morocco in 2016. And because we want him to know. So we were very fortunate. We've taken a few times to Morocco and he loves it. He speaks the language, fluently. He has an accent and a lot of people find it kind of funny, but it's really nice. So, and he sells Morocco. Sometimes I feel better than I do. And it's been an incredible experience. So we did that, almost a decade ago. And then during the pandemic, what led us to start the podcast is, obviously we had some time in our hands and I was listening to different podcasts and I started listening to Donald Miller. And I was very intrigued by him and, all the episodes that he did, Business Made Simple. And he really recommended having a podcast when you have a small business as just, as if you were having, a Facebook page, a LinkedIn page and so forth. And that's what really gave us the idea to start the podcast. It took me about a year or so to do our homework, and I was connected with Ted, our producer, and he's been with us since then, and it's just been really, really, really amazing experience. So.
I can only imagine. I know traveling brings so much out of me whenever I travel. You always seem to find some kind of connection to the land or asking yourself the question, why was I brought back here? So I wanted to ask you, when you went back, what surprised you most about yourself and not necessarily the country?
Well, what surprised me, there are some feelings that really never change. It doesn't matter if, I mean, I'm speaking from my experience. If I visit Morocco for a couple of days and I go back in few months or I go back in few years, that burning desire, that first touchdown with the airplane, that you waiting in line in customs just to go to the luggage area to go outside, it never changes. It's always the same excitement, that burning desire to see the family, to see the friends, that just to breathe the air. It's very unique, and it never goes away. It's still the same. The first time that I went to Morocco is still the same way that I came back a couple of weeks ago or last week. It's beyond incredible.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I love that. I recently went to Kentucky, and that's where my mom grew up. And that's not like Morocco. I know Morocco is like super nice and beautiful, but there was just something about being, back in a place, my mom called home. And what I love about you guys is that it doesn't feel like it's just selling the beauty of Morocco. Like you're truly trying to dive into the tradition and allowing people to kind of experience that. Um,
absolutely.
what's the difference to you that between visiting a place and reconciling with it?
You can visit a place on your own if you would, but if you really want to immerse yourself and have a true experience in immersion with the culture, that's what we really do. So it makes a big difference. And the way that we do the tours is very different as well. We really focus on the community, the locals, the experiences. So anywhere you go, you're gonna see some tourists, but it's not gonna be very touristy, if you would, Devon,
Yeah.
because we tend to go to the places that a lot of people really want to see. And one of the biggest requests that we've been having is the Berber experience. People, they want to be with the locals. They want to go to the mountains, those small villages, those hidden places, and they want to spend some time with the Berber family, have lunch, maybe have a trekking experience, or just have, just little chat, with the kids and talk and take pictures. So that's what really, really people have been wanting to do, and when they visit Morocco. So, and I highly recommend it as well.
Yeah, you know what? I've never really experienced or seen much of Morocco before you guys came across my page. What do you think is something people usually get wrong about Morocco?
Well, a lot of things I would say, because what the media shows in about Morocco, especially on TV and the movies, it shows a lot of stuff there not really positive. But Morocco is a very diverse country. It's beautiful, beautiful country. We are on the tip of the Africa. We're the closest country to Europe, Spain, and we have thousands of layers of culture and history. So it's amazing. So the perception versus the reality are completely different. When people, the way that they perceive Morocco, once they get to Morocco, they're really, really shocked. So in a good way, people think that we're underdeveloped. Yes, Morocco is a third world country, but it's we have cars, we have many things, because I do get asked some questions, hey, do you ride the camels? There's still camels everywhere. No, it's not. It's just, do you have air conditioning? Yeah, we do have air conditioning. So the simple questions. But then when they get to Morocco, um, I would like for you to see their faces, Divan, when they're about to leave, because it's tough for them to say goodbye because of all the connections that they have made, all the kids and the families and the people that they have made. The hospitality that they have experienced is just second to none. So yeah, that's one of the biggest, I would say, perception versus reality in Morocco. They're in two different poles, if you would. So
Yeah. And before we even started recording, you had told me that you recently, like, you have been going back and forth more often. Why do you think that is? Why have you been seeing yourself more there?
Well, uh, I go back and forth because now we have, we have quite a bit of bookings, and sometimes when we have a group of travelers, I definitely want to go and be with them and just enjoy that experience. And we just did with a group of 21 people from the Caribbeans, and they
Wow.
reside in the US, most of them. And it was just an amazing experience because during that time, we also learn from them. We learn, from things that we didn't do or the mistakes that we have made. So, and it's beautiful. And one of the things that really stood out for me is, at the end of the tour, I was walking with one of the guests, Lisa, and she was like, Morocco looks like colorblind. And I was like, and I looked at her, she looked at me, and I said, "You're right," because we don't say black people, we don't say African American, we're all the same, we're all equal. But then it's just, you can feel it, you can sense it. We had some challenges during the tour, but they loved every moment of it, the good and the bad. But that's one thing that really, really stood out for me because we see it, we live it in Morocco, but then, somebody from outside mentioning it, it just means a lot to us because we don't, everybody's equal in Morocco, and it's very safe, beautiful, super diverse country. And if you haven't been, I highly recommend you go as quick as you can.
Wow. And you're making
So,
me want to go because one of the biggest things for me is just safety when I'm traveling, especially, to another country. I do have a passport. My kids have their passports too, and we want to travel. So even my next question would be like, would you say it's safe for kids? Would they enjoy being in Morocco?
oh my goodness, Divan, that's a really, really, really good question. I get that asked all the time, safety, but it's very seldom that somebody asks me about the kids and their safety. And I can assure you, yes, it is very safe. Like I said, I came back, Christmas Eve. And one of the things that I noticed, the kids walking to school, crossing the streets, just walking. I mean, it reminded me when I was a kid. But then I looked at it in terms of safety. Look at these kids; they're going this path, 4 times a day, and nobody's bothering them. Nobody's planning to kidnap them. They're just very safe. Then the system that we have in terms of you know, tourism police and also the regular police, then the different departments of the police and the secret service and everything. It plays a big role in the reason why Morocco it's very, very safe. Then we have checkpoints, between less than a mile, you'll see, a sprinter with the police and, standing, less than a mile from each other. Then you have checkpoints outside the city when you leave the city, and between city to city there's 2 or 3 checkpoints as well. So it is very, very safe to travel in Morocco. And then when you're in the Medina, when for example in Marrakesh in the square, everything is under surveillance camera, so it is very safe. And in terms of the kids, there's so many things that the kids can do, they will enjoy, especially during the summertime, even though it's hot. But the kids, they'll definitely have a blast.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that my mom has been speaking a lot about it, traveling, 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 and my biggest fear is just traveling somewhere where I don't feel safe or the kids don't feel safe, and even just speaking about when I went to Kentucky, there was like a racial divide that you can feel,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yes.
mean? And so to hear that there's almost like the opposite in Morocco, where there's almost like a pride that you guys are taking with not noticing race and everyone just kind of being equal. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What,
Thank you.
what do you think? Why do you think that's the way you guys have framed race, and that's kind of the attitude you guys have taken towards just accepting everyone?
I would say most of it is really the religion, because the religion promotes equality between men and women, and in all the races there's no difference. And that's how, mentally, how we all brought up. Even as a kid, when I remember watching the Olympics in 1984, and when I see Carl Lewis, we just say he's an American. We don't label him as, African American, and and stuff like that. And when we see Michael Jordan, we just say Michael Jordan, American. We don't label it in terms of race. But that was normal to me. But then when I came to the US, that's one of the biggest differences that I have noticed. But then you don't want to pay attention to it because everything here is labeled, so you kind of get used to it. But back home, it's very different. And the funny thing, back I did we did a tour with the office and everybody back home, and I took a travel agent with me from Canada, and one of my photographers, she's one of my neighbors here in the US, and they were gay, and he was white, she was African American, and that's one of the things that she noticed. She was like, everybody's looking at me, everybody wants to help me, but nobody paid attention whether she's gay or not gay, and everybody just welcomed them, and they felt very safe, they felt very good. So if they didn't tell you they were gay, you would have no idea. But then again, it's part of the culture. That's how Morocco is. We are very different. We are open to all cultures. We don't discriminate, especially when it comes to tourists. Tourists are very sacred in Morocco. So, and that's from the king to the government to everybody else.
Hmm. That's beautiful, and that makes me feel very safe, if anything, to
Thank you.
make Morocco my next trip. But I think when we travel too, there's often that line of culture and respecting it. What has your experience been when it comes to traveling and kind of keeping that responsibility of culture still intact, or not disrespected, but also what have you come across when it comes to people um, that have been in your culture?
That's a really good question. I really haven't seen anyone, I would say, ever disrespecting the culture, in all the years that I lived in Morocco, or the times that I have actually visited, because a lot of people, when they travel to Morocco, they want to respect the culture. They want to, they don't want to do any, faux pas, if you would. So we do get those questions quite a bit. And one of the really best ways that I always recommend, just wear something that it's made in Morocco. Or for example, right now we have the African Cup of Nations, and we have some clients in Morocco, and it's like, hey, I bought a Moroccan national jersey, and it's like, hey, that's one of the best ways to fit in. So anywhere you go, people will applaud you, will smile and wave at you. It makes you part of the culture, part of the people, part of the experience as well. So I always recommend it. If you're going in the winter time, buy a jalaba, for example. It's kind of, it'll keep you warm anyways. If you're going in the summertime, buy something that is unique to Morocco, or has Morocco or Marrakesh or Casablanca or something kind of, just it makes you feel like you fit within, which is really nice. The other thing is, Divan, this is incredible question. A lot of people, they also ask me, hey, what do I wear? What do I not wear? And so forth. I always tell them the same: just wear what makes you comfortable, because tourism, it's number one income for us in Morocco. Um, so it's pretty big. So we expect tourists to be wearing different clothes. We expect them to look different than us and all that stuff, and it's perfectly fine. But you have to wear what makes you comfortable, and it's also part of the culture. Just be yourself.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will go to a place like Morocco and think that they have to wear what they're seeing, the Moroccans wearing, and try to fit in ways that may not be essential to, like you said, being yourself. But
Absolutely.
I'd love for you to go back to even the podcast, and why that was started, and because obviously you're taking trips there, you're bringing your son back there for the relationship and for him to have some kind of relationship with it. But now it's kind of like your life's work. So what
Yes.
was that moment like for you, and how has the podcast kind of transformed your life?
Oh my God, Divan, I can't even. Oh my goodness, that's a heavy question. You know, I met with Ted, the producer, in 2021. I still remember we met around January or so, and we worked behind the scene, and we recorded a few episodes. We never published, which is perfectly fine. But then he asked me a lot of questions. I did not know the answers to them at that time. And he was like, hey, what do you want to do with the podcast? Do you want to make money out of the podcast? Do you want to just create content? And I said, I just want to give people the right information, because there's a lot of wrong information online, fake news and all that stuff. So that was really, really my idea, my goal for the podcast. excuse me. So we did few episodes, and we get a lot of bookings from the podcast actually, um, and it became more and more popular, and we have over 150,000 downloads. It's been listened to for, I would say, 150 different countries, which is just mind-boggling. And I got a chance to interview a lot of people, and take a lot of guests to Morocco, and make a lot of friends and collections all over the globe just because of the podcast. So I'm very grateful for it, very grateful for the listeners. But then we did not realize that the podcast, Divan, is becoming a business on its own. And that's
Mhm.
something we did not see, we did not intend for it to happen, but it just became a business in addition to the tour company that we have. And again, me and Ted, we talk quite a bit, and we meet quite a bit, and it's like, hey, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And it's like, hey, um, we tried few things, and then we said, hey, the missing link for us is we need to be guests on other podcasts, because we need to be exposed to other audience. I think they really like the content, and if somebody wants to go to Morocco, may not be today, maybe a couple of years, they'll find you, and it just took off. So it's been just an amazing, amazing, amazing experience, Devon, and I'm very grateful for it. So
Yeah, I can only imagine. I never imagined, starting the podcast, it would start connecting me to people like you said, and I can only imagine because you guys are doing something that is so culturally rich.
thank you.
Um, yeah, it's beautiful, and I'm glad that people are flocking to it, and you guys have done so many episodes. Um, but I wanted to ask, has it changed how you've guided people in real life? Hosting the podcast.
Oh yes, yes, it has. Because when we put out content, we know it's good, but we don't know if it's gonna resonate with the travelers, with the guests. And then it became kind of a really, really heavy responsibility, if you would, because a lot of people they do their homework, they go online, Google, ChatGPT, and all that stuff. But then a lot of those places they cannot offer them what you offer them. It's real advice. It's a sound and it's safe advice. So in that regard, it has changed the way that I look at travel in Morocco, the way that we talk to travelers that are going to Morocco, and again, because of that responsibility, it's and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah.
Mm. Do you have a favorite episode or an episode you feel like if someone really wanted to dive in and not have any context to anything, would there
Oh
be an
my
episode
gosh,
you would
it's
pick?
it's it's
I
it's
know you have a lot.
yes, we have quite a bit. It's funny, but so many of them they stand out because we did a lot of them. I would say solo female travelers. I remember Sesha from Canada. I remember Max from LA. I remember Rachel from Dallas. The reason why, because those are the ones that keep coming back. The solo travelers, the female travelers, like you mentioned earlier, Devon, safety. And that's what a lot of people are looking for. Safety is extremely important. And also for a lot of people that are traveling just by themselves. And it's funny because when you travel on your own by yourself, you're not really alone. You have a car with you, you have a driver with you, then you have the local guides. Then in some
Oh,
cases, you have a national guide with you or a tour leader. So sometimes there's two people or three people in the car with you, guiding you and being with you during that tour. You're never, never alone, but it's just you're traveling by yourself. So
yeah.
yeah, those episodes I would say definitely my favorite. And I would say Sesha is definitely probably top three because of that experience really, really changed her in so many different ways, Devon. Yeah.
Hmm. And that's so, I love that you mentioned that because I have had apprehensions about traveling alone. I don't think that's even something I've ever done. I've always had to travel with a friend. I've always had to have,
Yes.
a family, something,
Yes.
just because of that fear. But what do you think, Morocco, how does it help people that are traveling alone? What is one thing that you think Morocco does differently?
I would say the culture, definitely the people. Um, the villages, and again, the kids, the things that they see in Morocco, you know, let's look at, for example, an itinerary just going to the southern part of Morocco and doing the desert. You're going to go through the mountains. You're going to see a lot of villages. You're going to, it's simple life. And then we connect you with those people for either lunch or some time with them or an experience with them. And you see their way of life. They literally have nothing, but they invite you with open arms and they give you the best of what they have. And then you look at the kids and they seem not worrying about anything. They just want to have fun at that moment and play. And you look at them, it's like, wow, I really feel like I'm taking a lot of things for granted. Look at how simple these people, they don't know anything about internet. They don't know anything about, artificial intelligence, anything, literally about anything. But yet they're very happy with everything that it's basic, with everything that they have. And that's really put a lot of things in perspective for a lot of for a lot of travelers, whether they are from New Zealand, Canada, the US, or Australia, or Europe, because we do tend to take a lot of things for granted. Even speaking for about myself, but then when you go and do those experiences, they really, you learn a lot of things about yourself. You learn your strength, your weaknesses, things that you're grateful for, and then you make a lot of memories along the way, and friendships. So it really changes you.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And you, going back to that, you said, Morocco's a third world country. So, I didn't even put two and two together. Obviously, when we're going out there would be no internet. That would be
No,
one of the things.
there is internet everywhere you go.
Um,
They actually have 5G internet right now in some of the cities in Morocco. The internet connection, it depends. If you go in again to the mountains, if you go into the desert, the signal may not be strong, but in the major cities, it's good. There's 4G everywhere you go, and
oh,
5G
okay.
in some cities. The internet that they have in most of the cities, it's a fiber internet, which is really fast. So,
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah.
You know what? I think I might have just been a little confused. And you were speaking more so to like the tours that you would go on to see like the deserts, the mountains.
Yes. Yes.
In some of
Yeah.
those areas, that's where you would see,
Yeah.
the children that are not
Yeah.
necessarily in like the hustling
It,
cities.
absolutely.
Okay, and that's I think that is a great way for people to kind of experience something different, but not necessarily something that's like within your own realm. And I I've never been to Morocco, but I could only imagine what that would do for me and my kids. Because we're so used to the hustle and bustle over here,
Yes.
it never really slows down. So, what do you think? Or what do you hope people walk away with? After they've gotten done with their trip and they've come home.
I think they'll walk away with a lifetime memories, friendship. They'll walk away with a place that they know they're gonna visit one more time or maybe more. Um, Morocco really changes you, and in so many different ways. It's funny. Even Ted, the producer, I remember he went to Morocco in February 2 years ago. Uh, he went to Portugal, and from Portugal he went to Morocco for 10 days, and they did a tour around Morocco. And his son Hugo, they went to the blue city, Chefchaouen, and he wore everything blue. The sneakers blue, the jean, the hat blue, and even the sunglasses. And he loved the city. And when they were leaving, everybody was crying, the kids. And the reason is because they had such an amazing time. And I told Ted, Hugo, that's not his last time going to Morocco, because as a kid, those memories, they stay with you when you become adults. So everything that he has seen, it will come back to him, and he'll go back to Morocco. And I say the same thing to a lot of people. Um, you may not think at the moment, but the stories that you tell about Morocco will probably, will encourage your kids, will motivate your kids to go to Morocco on their own one day or visit Morocco with you. So, and that's what Morocco does for you. It teaches you a lot of things about yourself, more than just the destination or the experience. So it's incredible.
See, and that's what I would love for you. So if someone is interested, they've listened to this podcast and they're like, I really want to go to Morocco's, but I really want to use Destinations Morocco. What does it look like? What is the experience like? Do we, obviously we go to your website, but from there, if you
Oh,
want
that's
to,
a
you
good
can,
question.
yeah, I would love
Oh,
to know because
definitely.
I'm interested. I want to take my kids now. So,
We do a discovery call, and that's all we really want, just a discovery call, and there's no charge. It's a 30-minute, but most of the time it goes over, and they can book as many of those discovery calls as they like, and we answer all the questions that they have, you know, about Morocco. Sometimes they have good information, sometimes they have not, I wouldn't say good information, but not complete information. Some of it probably is wrong, or the perception again is incorrect. And we make sure that we are a good fit for them. If we are not, we'll say, hey, we'll direct them to somebody else who is a good fit for them. So, and when the discovery call is booked, basically, if everything goes well, I mean, everything is documented, then we go to the itinerary building and how we work. All the itineraries, Divan, that we create, they're all unique to the travelers, meaning we never create two itineraries that are the same. If they say, hey, we have 8 days in Morocco, what can we see? And then we just say, hey, let us build an itinerary for you with all the experiences. Then we come back and we present it to them, and they can make the changes that they like. And then we take it from there, until everything is approved by them, and then it becomes final. Excuse me. And then it becomes kind of a proposal, and then they have to either pay or make a deposit. And then we book the riads, the hotels, the transportation, the local guides, the experiences for them. So there's a process. I would say it depends on the guest. This could take probably about a month to probably 2 months, sometimes 2 months and a half, because of the back and forth,
yeah,
until everything is done and approved. So
I
that's
love
really
that.
the process. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
That
you, Devon.
sounds, yeah, no, I love it because it just sounds like it really helps paint a picture of what you'll be doing, where you'll be going, and like you said, the tour guides who will be kind of
Absolutely.
helping you out. That's beautiful. I love that you guys have done that.
Thank you. Thank you, Devon.
And what do you think everyone's perception when they come back? What is the perception you've gotten a lot, or at least the response?
Oh, the response is like, I wish we could stay longer. It's so even for me, I could relate to those answers and those response, because I wish I stayed longer too. I mean, I love it. I love it. I guess for me it's a little different, because that's what I do. But at the same time, I really, really love Morocco. I really enjoy all the experiences, everything from the smallest thing, the thing that people may not even pay attention to, to something else bigger. But it's, again, it's the culture, it's how people make you feel. And then, you will absolutely find yourself in Morocco, learn so much about yourself in Morocco, Divan. And I believe the kids will love it, because they're almost the same age. So, and they can do different things. Let's say, in your case, we can say, hey, we have these options for you: option one, option two. The kids, if they want to go do this, somebody else can go and do this. We just get them two different vehicles, and they'll still have people with them, and have fun. So yeah,
Wow. And
yeah.
yeah, I'm so afraid to send them out on their own here where we live. So I'm like, imagining that, I don't know if I would feel comfortable, but at the same time, I believe you that it's like this safe, like,
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
they're never alone. They're never
yeah.
alone. So
And
yeah,
I think that's the greatest part about this whole operative. Like, you guys are really making it that it's a safe experience for everyone.
absolutely.
Um, But when everything is said and done, what do you hope Destinations Morocco protects, not just promotes?
Um, oh my gosh, that's a deep question, Devon. I need more coffee.
Right. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
it's
no,
the
it's
first.
I love it. I think I would say, to protect. I would say, you know, to protect against, uh, the bad news or the fake news or the things that are being said and written and about Morocco, that it's inaccurate. And you're right. This is one of the other reasons when we started the podcast, because when I do my homework, I find a lot of information that it's not really inaccurate about Morocco, and kind of hurts. So, I can't protect the culture, because the protection, the culture protects itself, the country protects itself. But for me, we can just, protect people from being exposed to the wrong information, if you would. And the good thing is, when we do the podcast and an episode like this one, Devon, the information lives forever online. So people at some point will find it. And that's one of the things that, the feedback that we have gotten, thank you for your podcast. Even a lot of people don't travel with us, but they still send us, feedback and comments. Hey, I visited Morocco, and, I'm so glad that I listened to the scam episode, because I knew that I was being scammed. And then, I escaped, or I did this, or I did that. So it's, yeah, for us, that's the protection we can really, really offer, if you would.
And I think you guys are doing such an amazing thing with the
Thank you.
podcast. Just giving out these examples of stories, like you said, or even situations where people can reference, and it's here forever. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
on the internet, so we can always go back, we can always check it out, and really gain a resource that will help us not only travel more safer, but more confidently. So thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you for what you
Absolutely.
guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, but before I let you go, I kind of just wanted you to let us know, where can we find you? Where can we follow you? Where can we book with you?
Oh, sure.
Obviously, we'll leave it all in the show notes, but
Absolutely. I would say the best place to start, excuse me, Devon. I would say the best place to start is our website, destinationsmorocco.com. That's destinations with an S, morocco.com. And you will find all the links to our social media, because they have different names. I'm personally big on LinkedIn. You can just, find me easy with my first last name. It will come up. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. And then we have Instagram, we have YouTube. YouTube is good as well, at Destinations Morocco as well. So, and that's, again, the website is the best place to find us and connect with us. And Morocco is calling, and we would love to take you there, or at least help you get there on your terms.
and you might have to help me get there too. So
I
thank you
would
so
love to.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We'll make sure that we tag you guys in the show notes. But I really appreciate you for sharing all about Morocco and the hidden gem that it is. And I hope anyone that finds this episode is really called to connect with you and go
Thank
to
you.
Morocco and really have an experience of their lifetime.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Devon. I'm very grateful. I really, really appreciate your time and this opportunity to be on your amazing, amazing podcast. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you so much. All
Yeah.
right, guys, until next time. Bye-bye.
Wow, what Azdean and his company at Destinations Morocco are doing is truly amazing. I can't wait to book my next trip. If you would like to know more about how you could book your next trip in style, please visit www.destinationsmorocco.com for more information. See you all for the next episode.
Hey guys, it's Icarus here,
And Amelia.
and I'm here to tell you if you'd like to join our brand new adventure. Go to DevonTaylorAuthor.com to learn more.
And check out the cool items like the new bucket hat.
Yeah, and so much more. See you guys there.
Please don't give me